Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to my first Genshin song reaction in a while. And there are some specific things that led me to this. Nothing really particularly good either. I've been having a very busy day. I didn't really have the time to do like a longer song, and I was just like, Genshin music. And the first thing that, of course, popped up was the main theme. And I realized I hadn't actually heard the main theme isolated in and of itself. I think it's been a part of like the concerts I've listened to in the past and done streams on, but I don't remember what that sounds like because it's been long enough and I don't recall really anything from maybe 2 hours ago. So I figured it would be pretty cool to give myself that experience of hearing what the actual theme is in the original context and sound, and just because I needed something pretty quick, and it's been so long since I've touched anything from Genshin and I want to get back to it. So here we are, and here's the main theme. Let's go. I was prepared to remember this. None of this sounds familiar. But damn, that's pretty. Beautiful sweeps. Gorgeous build. Oh man. Okay, yep. You Ping Chen in the house. It's There's a lot of classic little things that are thrown in here. I'll talk about those when I'm done listening, though. Don't like to talk too much when I'm trying to listen, but... Beautiful. As per usual. Not a single bad song. Not yet. Not to this day. So there's something with this song that I think I noticed. I do not want to marry this next statement because I am not somebody who knows how to play the piano or much of music theory. I just have an ear and I've been around music for a lot of my life, so I pick up little things. I think that sweep that was happening, especially near the beginning before that first big release into the crescendo, was that like boo doo boo doo boo doo boo doo boo doo boo doo, like that part. The way that the notes were landing, I think was actually changing between like 3, 4, 6, 6, 4, 3. When it comes to their spacings, like a third, a fourth, a 6, a 6, a 4, and a 3. And it could be something close to that, because the way that those notes were changing definitely felt like they were perfect majors. There might have been a minor in there, but it didn't sound like it by any means. But again, I'm just working off my ear here. I think that those were all perfect intervals, but they were growing and then shrinking as the growth in the sweep did. So basically the notes, as they would be going across the staff, this one kind of went up further away and then they kind of rejoined it down at the bottom of the staff. I think. I am, again, not trying to marry that statement, but if I'm right, that would be so cool. I mean, that's something I've heard before. I think I've even heard it in a few ringtones and like wake up alarms in the ears, but that's a really, really neat sweep. I love that. It's so simple. It's so pure. It sounds so solid, because it's following these standards that have been set by Europe for generations. I cannot remember his name, who wrote literally like the laws of how to do like perfect separations, perfect thirds, fourth, fifths, these intervals that we use all the time in modern music. He like literally wrote the book on that effectively. He wrote these guidelines that basically everybody following him followed to a T. And that's why Europe and America especially have basically these kind of accidental laws that our music follows in order to follow harmonic structure and the way that we separate notes in order to make it sound a specific way. He wrote these rules that basically became like a standard for every classical musician out there. And while there are plenty of indigenous cultures that don't follow these rules and have plenty of like folk music that are not written with these rules, and especially Asia really didn't get this till much later, they don't really have those rules either. But in general, music tends to follow these because it's what our minds are used to, and following something like that in a world like Genshin makes total sense. It fits the entire vibe of like their main overarching visual aesthetic, not to mention their character designs. Everything else is a little bit more inspired by that European culture, so it kind of fits perfectly with that. And I know that that was Yu Peng Chen's whole idea, was to match the scenery and to work together with the visual department to make that happen. There's no way it's not. That's how game dev works. So this just kind of neat to see these extra thoughts and follow those rules. And while Yu Peng Chen has never not done that, unless the area of the game that you're in requires you to move away from that aesthetic, has followed these rules. But that's like a very, very specific one that I just happened to pick up on. My ear would not let that go. And I just think that's really cool. I also think it's really interesting that throughout this composition, while I know I've heard this song before in those live streams like I mentioned, I don't know if this song was entirely written to just be woodwinds and string instruments, but that's all I could hear throughout listening to this. I didn't hear anything that I would call a brass section. There may have been some low strings that are supposed to act in that format and to be that like heavy bass energy that usually trombones, tubas, etc. would match. I didn't really hear them though. I heard them as strings, just very low tuned strings. And I don't know if that was intentional, if it was written to just be woodwinds and strings, but I also think that's a clever approach if he was limited in that way and for whatever reason didn't have those instruments to work with, by substituting that with low strings to give that heavy bass, to allow that resonance to sit there and occupy that space. That's a clever idea. There are plenty of compositions out there that do similar things and are doing that on purpose, so it's very likely that Yu Peng Chen was doing that on purpose, but there's also the potential that he wasn't, so I don't like acting like I know. You know, like I always want to give myself and you guys a complete disclaimer that I really don't truly understand music to that depth. I am not somebody trained in that respect. I just don't want to act like I'm an authority and then risk the backlash from people who are much more intelligent and trained than I am in that respect. So if I'm close, please let me know. I love to know when I'm like right or wrong, but I don't want to say anything in this video like, oh yeah, I'm an authority, listen to me. I digress. And of course, as a percussionist myself, I think that this song having a very minimal amount of percussion makes total sense, especially with the generally limited set of instruments it was using already. Having just the simple cymbal swells, and then like I think I heard a chime bell hit when it hit that first crescendo, and there might have been one or two more in there, but it was mostly just cymbal swells, makes total sense. This song could totally work with like a marching snare cadence to like bring the energy to a little bit more of a gallop. Obviously that would be a thematic choice to do that. It's just not what this actual composition is trying to accomplish. So I think it's very nice to not have to hear all that extra sound in there where it really isn't needed. There's no reason to have a bass or timpani in this. I could see a timpani swell working for this, like in those crescendos, but that's all I would do personally. Other than that, this song is just chef's kiss when it comes to just maximizing minimalism. It's so good. Love that. But I think I've blabbed on enough. I've been overthinking this song to the point that I heard this song for 1.5 minutes, and I have been sitting here thinking through my thoughts, recording for 30 minutes. That's how much this song has done to me, and I need to sleep. It is past 2 a.m. now, so thank you all so very much for watching. If you want to see me nerd about music stuff a little bit more, you can follow me and support me and all that, and leave a comment down below with the song I should get to next, because I don't have enough Genshin stuff in my backlog. I need more of that, so like, give me other songs to listen to. I know the live streams are there for the most recent concerts. Give me other stuff. I want to get to more. I want like recommendations. Give me things. But I digress. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye!